all the young men that had the opportunity to sign NLIs and scholarships. I've always believed it's a special thing when a young man finds his fit and gets the opportunity to go further his education in college and further his college career. So congratulations to all those men that found their fit. For us, it was, as you can tell, it was a big man's day. This is a class that we knew coming in would be a small class. We just have not had attrition and not a lot of seniors. This is a young team. So when you look at only losing 4 starters, 2 on offense, 2 on defense, and you have 7 total scholarship seniors, it's going to be a smaller class. And we've really felt the need going into this class was going to have to be big men. And when you look at it, to acquire the 6 offensive linemen that we did on the front, as well as the 3 defensive linemen, 2 interior linemen, was exactly what we were looking for. I commend these men too. This was a group that really stayed with us all the way through the season, as we finished the season strong. They were right there saying, Coach, this is where we want to be. We want to be at USC for what you stand for, what USC stands for, and what it is about. And so I'll let that finish up, and then
let me get that fixed.
Okay.
My bad.
Yeah. But it is a group. It is a group that we welcome. Obviously, this is an early signing period. We still got a little bit to go in February, and there's some targets out there that we will be on, and look forward to further announcements at another date. Just going through this group, we do have 3 spring enrollees. The first one being Josh Jackson. Really excited about Josh, both from a physical and mental standpoint. I think he's going to be able to come in here and immediately compete. He reminds me so much, and I've said this a bunch to him and his family, reminds me so much of what Robert Woods was when I first got here. Just his toughness, what he brings to the game, and his durability and his ability to make plays, I think are special. And commend him and his family. They were with us all the way through. Parker Lewis is another young man that we acquired as a specialist that I think is unique, and I thought was the best place kicker in the country. Obviously being a little bit older at the position, with Chase being up in age, as well as Michael Brown, this was our investment for the future. Parker's going to get the opportunity to come immediately compete, and he is a special talent, and we look forward to having him come early. Kobe Pepe, I talked about, when you look at where we are right now going into next season with a Jay Tufeli, a Brandon Peely, a Marlon Tuipulotu, you're talking about some guys that are now going into their 4th year. And it was going to be very imperative for us to acquire some big physical defensive tackles. We feel like we have done that with both Kobe as well as Jamarcus Sakona. Both bring, it's hard to move those big 300-pounders. They have a great work ethic. They have great change of direction, play extremely hard, very physical, very smart people that we think can come in and help us immediately. With our fall enrollment, and I'll talk mostly about this offensive line, to start off, we were able to step outside our footprint of the West Coast and go down to Texas with our relationships, one with Graham as well as Mike Jinks, and as well as the job that Tim Drevno did in helping sign these 6 offensive linemen. We were able to go down and get Casey Collier and Cortland Ford, which you're talking about a 6'7" and a 6'5" offensive tackle bodies that are both going to be 300-pound plus men that bring great athleticism and great feet to the park. We're excited about having them. And then on the West Coast, we brought in Andres DeWork from San Jose, California, 6'7", 295-pound offensive lineman that went all the way to the state championship this year, led his team at Los Gatos, and just brings great character and a great future. I think his best football is yet to be, and his length at the tackle position I thought was unique. Andrew Millett out of Chandler, Arizona, we're really excited about. Here's a young man that committed to us early, stayed all the way through with us, has done a tremendous job there at Brophy Prep, and we're excited to have him. Jonah Manheim, I'm extremely excited about. I've had the opportunity to watch him live and see what he's able to do. Just a physical and mental maturity that is unique. He's one of those guys, he could play anywhere on the line and be successful at it. He's going to start outside at tackle and have that opportunity. But we're so excited about Jonah and what he brings from Moore Park High School. And then you got Caden Stephen out of Camas, Washington, who's done a tremendous job at his school. Again, a group that played for a state championship. A lot of these kids, as you've seen, have been with very successful programs. And he is a young man that we think very highly of and looking forward to having here. And then a great edge rusher. Out of Lawndale with Tuli Pelotu. Very excited about him. To watch what he does and how he affects the passer, what he did for Lawndale this season. Obviously, a brother to Marlon. It's great to have another Tuli Pelotu in the Trojan family right now. So with that, I'll take any questions that you may have and be able to answer them. I think we got 10 minutes here. All right. Yeah.
So the top 25 players in California, you guys didn't get any of them, and 19 of them went out of state. What do you have to do to try to keep some of that local talent home?
Well, I think the first thing is you got to be able to look at your needs. I think that's the biggest thing. It's most important to be able to not only fulfill. It's nice to sign great players. It's also nice to sign great players that you have to have. And it's if you all of a sudden don't take a view of a picture that's 1, 2 years ahead and acquire what you need at certain positions, then you're going to get overloaded and you're going to look up and you're going to be weak at a position. The one thing I can say about our team, and as you look, and I think everybody would be in agreement here, is our depth at each position is equal. You don't see a weakness in it. And I'll put these men up against the guys that we sign. I know there's a lot of stars out there. There's a lot of evaluation. But in a smaller class, we had to go address our needs. And the needs were big men. And they needed to be 300-pounders. And that's why when you look up out of these 11 men, 8 of them are those interior big men. So I hope that answers your question.
Clay, a couple weeks ago, Mike Bones said that recruiting was going dramatically better than people would like to say it is. Do you feel like that was proven true today?
Well, to be able to have what we acquired with such a limited number, I'm very satisfied with what we needed. And at the end of the day, I'm not necessarily about perception. I'm about wins and how to produce the best football team. And so you have to not worry about maybe popular opinion and get exactly what your needs are as a team. And you have to understand this, that when you sign big men, there's not as much flash. I get it. Everybody likes the quarterbacks and the wideouts and the DBs and the linebackers. But we needed to get this done today. And there's another signing period. All right, so we've got some other opportunities that are out there. About 85 to 89%, when you look at the first 2 years, have been where Power 5 conferences with most of the players. But there's also that anywhere from 11 to 15% that are still left out there. And there's still targets out there for us to be able to acquire that we are in the hunt for. So this is the beginning phase. We'll go through the month of December as well as January. There's some attrition that may happen that open up even further spots. And have the opportunity to have another February signing class, and I'll be back here to talk to you again about it.
Mike also suggested there was maybe 4 silent commits that would come later. Do you have guys lined up that you expect to add to this class eventually?
Well, obviously, I'm not allowed to talk to names, or I'm not allowed to talk or even hint it. So, usually 2 things happen, and I just was visiting with media upstairs doing TV media. One of 2 things happen. Either there's that 11% that is still out there that is still trying to make decisions, which there are those young men, and there are some on the West Coast as well as national that's happening for. And then there's young men that are going through their process on how they want to do things. They only get one opportunity. And some men like to make those announcements, at the All-Star games, and we've seen that in our time here. That's become a popular phase. So, we had a very good day today that we were very happy about. We look forward to future news that I can give you at another day.
You had mentioned you have a limited amount of numbers. How many spots do you have left that you're looking forward to in February?
I can't give you that exact number because I'll be honest with you, as we've seen, and you've seen just in the own Pac-12, we haven't had it yet, but there, obviously you have graduate transfers that open up spots. You have the availability that young men are going to make decisions come mid-January about the NFL and what their next step is. So I can't give you an exact number, and I don't want to hurt myself in recruiting, to be honest with you. I will say that the numbers are limited in this class, like I've said in this one. It's not going to be the national ranking because you just don't have the numbers. But it does fill the needs, and I'm more worried again about wins than I am about winning today. I'm more worried about winning on Saturdays.
What positions are priority needs the rest of the way, and do you plan to take a quarterback this class?
Right now, for us, we are in a very good position, as you saw today, addressing the needs of the big men. I think as we move along that you'll see some skill positions will get signed in the future, and that will be an area that we will look into. And I'm going to leave it at that because I don't want to give a game plan or give anybody else an opportunity to hurt me on it.
How would the 11 days of speculation after the final regular season game impact your ability to close out this early signing period?
Yeah, you know what I said about these men, right? They were here with us the whole way through, and that's what I appreciate about them. You didn't see kids flip. These men were with us from the beginning and stayed with us all the way through. And I think that's, and I've always said that, that's what USC is. That's why kids come here not only to be developed as football players, but remember the opportunity of this education. A private school education that's ranked 15th in the country right now. If a young man stays here 5 years, it's over $500,000 in education. So it's something that I think young men see it not as just the 4-year experience, but when you come to SC, it's about your next 40, 50, 60 years. They're big picture thinkers. And these men, I can tell you are. They're not only wanting to come here with the opportunity to be developed into an NFL football player, but they're also concerned about what happens to them when they're 40, 50, 60 years old. And that's the power of SC, and that's those are the kind of kids you want, is big picture thinkers, not just looking for the 4-year experience, but the opportunity to do some big things after their career.
Clay, outside the football building, there's basically year-round talk about your job status and stuff like that. That kind of might have, seeped into recruits. What did you learn about recruiting under those circumstances with people, all that noise?
What a huge statement. To be a huge statement was made, I think, by Mike Bone as well as President Folk, one to come out and be able to say, hey, this is our coach. We're going to give him the tools, resources, and support necessary to get it done. And then you look a week later and you sign one of the best coordinators there is in college football and give the resources to be able to get that done. If that's not a sign of, wow, this is what we want moving forward, that's what you want as a head coach. And I've experienced nothing since the day President Folk and Mike Bone has stepped on campus, nothing but support. And, for them to make that type of gesture, to be able to say, hey, what do we need to do, and to prioritize, hey, let's make sure our OC is here. And that's a huge statement. And kids see that. And all of a sudden you look up and you have the type of young talent that we have, and now you look at the men that are coming with us, the future is bright, and people see that and kids see that. So I hope that answers your question.
Going back to Ryan's question, the biggest concern among fans is the not keeping the top local guys home. I understand about the filling needs and stuff, but there were guys you were in for that you didn't get. Is that a trend that is a priority to change in the next class for you, to get more of these top local Southern California guys?
I've had the opportunity to be here for 10 years, be the head coach for 5. I think the young men that are currently on this team, I think every one of them we've signed. So it gives us the opportunity to say we do sign good players. Great players.
Yeah.
And we're always looking for the top talent. I'm happy for those men that signed today and found their perfect fit for them. And you don't win all battles. We didn't bat 100% on these guys. I can promise you, as we've had these guys for a long time. And their strength and their character and them being USC Trojans, I thought was special. We battle all the time for the best players. We always will. We always will. But we got what we needed today. We didn't bat 100%. There are some battles that are continuing to go on that I look forward to revisiting with you in February.
Clay, do you feel like recruiting is one of those areas that could especially benefit from those increased resources that Mike and Carol?
No question. It's one of those things that from personnel standpoint to how visual kids are. It's an ongoing war race in recruiting, and you're always trying to keep updated. And the one thing that has been made clear to me, as far as both with Mike and our president, is them willing to do the things that are necessary to take us to the next step. And I can promise you that's happening. I feel it as the head coach. I'm appreciative as the head coach, and I look forward to the future. All right, again. Thank you.
Thanks, Clay.